Welcome into the Road in Between. We are delighted to be here at the Max downtown Meridian, and we're going to be sharing the story of Angela White and her daughter Emily White, and together their love for life, their love for family, and their love for the gift of music. And are they gifted? We can't wait to share their story of what God's doing in their life on the Road in Between.
Thoughts keep running through my head as I walk this road with nothing ahead. The sun beams down on my face as I walk this road that leads to amazing grace.
So glad you're with us at the Max, right here in the recording studio. And this is a celebration of what God's doing in your life together and how the love of music has brought you together. So tell us about who is Emily White and who is Angela White.
I feel like we should interchange, like you go first.
H before beauty, right?
Of
Anyway,
course.
no, I am from Meridian. I grew up, raised up in the Briarwood area, and music came to me early in life. I remember Dolores Avery. You know who she is? Wonderful
Precious
pianist.
woman.
Oh yes.
Ugh.
And I went to Briarwood Baptist Church, and I would sit on her bench and watch her just play that piano. And I'd get up there in my patent leather shoes and swing and sit there and talk to her while she was just going on with her magic fingers. And that's how my love of music started, was in the church. You know, and I thank my grandmother for that, because she brought me there, because my parents were deaf, so they didn't attend a church because there wasn't really a lot of interpreters back then. And so it was my grandmother that took me to church and got me going on music, and that's how I started.
That really makes you appreciate the gift of ears that we do have, and hearing
Mm-hmm.
and being able to play music and listen to it, because it's just this moving experience that you can't really put into words. Every single music, every genre of music gives you different kind of vibes and feels, and I couldn't even imagine not having it. I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine not having music in my life.
So how did you get music in your life?
Oh gosh. She started it. I grew up in a household where mom was in Nashville. She was a recording artist. She was signed, and she was traveling back and forth from Quitman. We were on, what street were we?
Highway 18,
18 West. Highway 18 West. We were on that strip of road, and
Between Quitman and Pachuta.
Love
that word.
We'd go. Mama went every single weekend or every other weekend. She would go from Quitman all the way up to Nashville to sing, and then come back on a Sunday or Monday and go back to work. And so I grew up kind of in a household of musicians, and growing up with musicians always in the house, playing music till about, well, for us, till about 8:30. Then we went to bed, and they started playing the honky-tonk music in the living room.
Wasn't appropriate.
She
for
thought
children.
I wasn't listening. That's what it was. My room was the closest one to the living room. Of course I heard you. So she'd have so many artists over there from Nashville singing and playing with her, or she'd have her band with her, or she was gone playing music. And there was a lot of the times where it was kid-friendly sometimes, and I would go with her. And if it wasn't at a bar or anything like that, because usually when you're singing country music, that's where you go, you know, and you go out and you play. And so there were sometimes mom would take me with her, which was so much fun. She'd get me, and I'd come along, and there was this one time, I always tell the story, where we were on a flatbed trailer. Mom was playing Liberty Day.
It was Liberty Day in Alabama.
In Alabama. And they had your typical country band setup. They had the flatbed truck, just a huge 18-wheeler flatbed, sitting out there with the whole band. And mom was up there singing, and I was out in the front, because there were kids. And of course, when you're kids, you don't sit and listen to the music when you're 8 or 9 years old.
No, they're playing football and running around on the field.
Yeah, I was
having a
I
good
was the only
time.
girl amongst so many boys, and we were out there playing football, getting grass stains on our pants, and running around in Converse and ball caps, you know, and just grass everywhere in my hair.
She was such a tomboy.
It was so much fun. So I was out there just playing with the boys, and Mom, I heard my name. So I go up there, and I had a sucker again at this point. I don't know what it was. I always had a sucker in my mouth.
It's a blow pop.
Blow pops. The blow pops.
The blow pops.
I love
yeah.
them so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I should have been a sponsor for them.
Exactly.
I bought so much of them. I went up on stage. I went from the side, and I got up on stage, and I started singing with Mama. I didn't start singing with her. I said, I had this one song I always sing, and Patsy Cline was my favorite artist growing up because Mom sang it all the time at the house. Because
she has the most innate ability to follow live music. I mean, it takes something. It's different than karaoke.
Well, yeah.
She could play with the band and know right when to come in at 9. You know, she just knew, okay, this is where I go, and they have a turnaround here, and I'm quiet, and they do this. And
I grew up with it because you were always in the house, and you always had people over, so I kind of followed in your footsteps when it came to that, getting my timing right and knowing when to come in and when to shut up kind of thing. And so I got up on that big old stage, little 9-year-old me, about this big.
camouflage shorts. I remember.
Was it shorts?
It
No,
was camouflage
those were my
shorts.
favorite ones. I had these camouflage
They were her brothers.
shorts. And they zipped off into shorts. They were pants, but they zipped off into shorts. And I had some sort of T-shirt or something on, and I got on stage and I sang "Crazy" by Patsy Cline and B flat. And B flat, mind you. As musicians, that is a terrible key. We don't like it. So
the guys
they kind of grumbled a little bit, but they played it, and there were about 5,000 people in that stadium.
And you could have heard a pin drop.
Yeah. You
could have heard a pin drop after she got finished singing. And I was just like, this is going to be a hard act to follow. They like this kid, you know. So anyway, yeah. And then they erupted in applause. Mm-hmm. And she just put her sucker back in her mouth and bebopped off the stage and went back there and played some more football.
Yeah.
And I was like,
but the whole thing is when I kind of reflect on my life back when I was younger, I think that was the pivotal moment of I really want to do this as a living, as a career path and follow it at 9, you know. So I started playing music, and I got in the band too. I played clarinet for a little while, but decided that I can't really sing with the clarinet in my mouth. So I got rid of the clarinet, and this is the story. We were living in Claremont, Georgia, which is a little cutesy little town, and it's close to Helen and Cleveland, Georgia, and a little
it's
hub
the first
there.
clear view of the mountains that you get.
Claremont.
So they called it Claremont.
It was going to be called Dip.
That's terrible.
Because it was in a little divot. But we were living there in Claremont, and we had these neighbors that were having a huge yard sale in the front yard. We could just walk across the street right to their house. And they had, in the sunlight, it caught this blue guitar, this ratty old blue guitar. And I told Mom and Dad that I wanted it because I want to play guitar, you know. At this point, I've already played piano and didn't play it anymore. I already played clarinet, got tired of it. And then there's this like $30 garage sale guitar. So Mom and Dad are, well, we can just get this for her. And if she likes it, that's great. We'll get her another one. If she doesn't, if she chunks it, we're not really losing too much. So they got me this guitar, and I got upstairs. I started playing. I tuned it up, and I started playing it. And I still had my Yamaha, really just a cheap keyboard. You know, I started transposing from C chords and G chords and E chords and onto the guitar. And my dad sees me, and that's when I get lessons from Larry Daniels, and that was in Gainesville, Georgia, right up the street from where we lived. And then it all I plowed through all my lessons in about a month, and he had nothing else to teach me. So I was just a sponge. I was yearning to learn every single thing about this guitar. And there's so many stories I could tell you. So I went from that garage sale guitar, then I got an Ibanez jumbo body guitar. It had the Starburst on it. And then I got an Ovation, then I had a Breedlove, and then the Holy Grail. I was 21. I turned 21, right? Was it 21?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I turned 21 years old. We were living in a cabin up in the mountains. We have a thing for mountains. We lived in the mountains in a log cabin, and I got this big box in front of me. And I kind of look at it, trying to figure out what it is. Like, is it a TV? Is it a keyboard? Like, what is this? And I put it on my lap, and I open it, and it's this baby, Miss Rosie. I finally got a Martin. Finally stepped my way up to it. Mom and Dad got me one. I cried, and I cried, and I cried.
Ugly cry, too. I mean,
it was a
like
bad cry.
So hold that,
Yeah.
Rosie. And you named her Rosie.
Yeah, because of the on the back here, all this is rosewood, solid, and I feel like Dad knows every single piece of this guitar. He's the one who helped me.
He researched it.
Yeah, he researched this to and fro to find the best guitar for me. And so I named her Rosie. She's been good to me so far, and she's just gonna get better with time. She's gonna be nice and aged, and she'll age like wine, I suppose. She's beautiful.
Stick around, we'll be right back.
At Rick Justice Automotive, you'll find the right vehicle at just the right price. We have new inventory of late model, low mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs arriving every week. Come see us today, and you'll see how we've been able to help your family and friends find the perfect vehicle. Financing and a 57-month, 57,000-mile warranty are available on every vehicle. For an awesome car buying experience, come to Rick Justice Automotive. We take pride in earning your business every day.
Here we are at Bay St. Louis on the road in between, and we've come across this bell. Listen to this. This bell is called the Best of Us to Vocations. From nurses and doctors, civic leaders, homemakers, laborers, singers, musicians, and a vibrant laity, this bell has called us all. This reminds us of God's call. He calls us into ministry, He shapes us by Scripture, and He sends us forth in the power of the Holy Spirit to be Christians. Where is God calling you today on your road in between? Welcome back to the Road in Between.
All right, so we're in Claremont at this point, and we're up in the mountains after I got Rosie. And so about a year or so after that, Mom and Dad moved back here to Mississippi. Mom and Dad did, because we came into some property and we decided to move into the house and take care of the property up there, our tree farm that's been in the family for a while. So Mom and Dad moved into that house, and then I moved into our old house in Claremont because we still had it. We hadn't sold it yet. So I moved back into that house for a little while, living on my own, which was terrifying. So like, my mom is 600 miles away, and it's just, so I decided to pack up my things. I'm like, Mom, I'm going to move home. So,
Mom, can I come home? Absolutely.
like, I have a
Just
room ready
come
for
on.
you. Your bed's in here. I have a dresser.
I
and
need some
everything.
help.
Gosh, talk about 80 acres. It's a handful. So I was a worker when I came back and helped with the property and helped Dad with the fields and the tractor and mowing the grass and all that fun stuff. Brings me back to my childhood memories of Quitman, picking up pine cones, which never ended. I tell you, they just never ended.
That was job security.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just going to move on property with pine trees everywhere and pine straw.
Go out there and pick up them pine cones.
So the big thing that I did after I moved home to Mississippi, and there was a lot of writer's block before I moved back home because I couldn't write about anything, and I miss Mom and I miss my family. And so I came back home and I immediately was hit with all of these ideas to write. So I just wrote and I wrote and I wrote, and I plowed out a lot of songs about coming home and about Mississippi and where I grew up and what I did growing up. And so Child of Mississippi kind of blossomed from me just moving back home to Meridian and seeing all my family and just reminiscing on what I did. Because the house that we're living in now is basically one that I grew up in. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was
married
staples.
in that house.
Yeah.
Me and Eddie got married in that house.
I got my first set of staples in my head in that house.
The only set of staples she ever had.
No, yeah, true. The only set, knock on wood.
Mercy.
On the windowsill that was brick. And went fishing, went Easter egg hunting. There's videos and pictures of us, little bitty things running around on the property. So coming back to that house really reminded me where I came from and reminded me of all the things that I did when I was a kid and growing up in the mud and driving down these dirt roads and just country and where I grew up and my roots that are so deep. So Child of Mississippi pretty much encompasses everybody who grew up in the South. And anybody can really relate to it. I'm sure anybody can relate to it that lived down here. At least one thing. So this is a song that I wrote called Child of Mississippi, and it's my pride and joy, and I love it. So I hope you guys enjoy it.
get our toes from climbing those pine trees. Running from bumblebees, looking up at bluebird skies, fishing with cane poles, bottling up fireflies, roasting marshmallows, skinny dipping at midnight. I am a child of Mississippi. My Magnolia memories guiding me back home. I know I'll always be, no matter where I roam. I am a child of Mississippi.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So good. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Vision, quality, experience. Glass Incorporated's expert glaziers can handle single window panes to entire high-rise buildings. Whether you need storefront windows, skylights, mirrors, or shower enclosures, no job is too big or too small. Glass Incorporated, your commercial and residential glass experts. Locations in Meridian, Orange Beach, and the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Here we are at St. Mary's Church outside of Enterprise, Mississippi. This church door is red, and so oftentimes church doors are that color. Why is that? We're reminded of the story of our ancestors in Israel. As they were leaving Pharaoh, they were asked to take a hyssop plant and dip it into lamb's blood and put it over the doorpost and lintels of their home. And then God would save them from death. Thousands of years later, Jesus was dying on the cross. His arms were opened, and a soldier took a hyssop stalk, dipped it into wine, and handed it to Jesus because he was thirsty. It's the same story. It's the story of sacrifice and God's love for you and for me. Think about that the next time you see a church door that is painted red. This is Tom Sykes for Hush and the Rush Moment on the Road in Between. Okay, so tell us about what's it like to go to Nashville, Tennessee. Back now, you're no longer a little 9-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And you are back, and it's this road in between of going from Quitman to Pachuta first, and now it's going from Meridian to Nashville.
Oh man, it has been a long ride coming up to this point. A lot of people don't understand that I didn't just move to Meridian and start playing guitar and singing. You know, it started way back. It started way back when I was a kid, and then started playing a lot of gigs when I was about 13 or 14, and I really kind of paved my road to where I am now with hard work and determination and blood, sweat, and tears putting into this career to get where I am today. I worked so hard to get here, and I have been so blessed, like I said before, so blessed to have met the people that I have in my journey. And that's still going, you know, it's still, hopefully still gonna be going down the path, and I still have a lot of things ahead of me coming, and I was shell-shocked when I got signed. I was shell-shocked when I got signed because I hadn't expected it. I didn't know what to expect, but it was the greatest experience to have somebody who enjoyed my music enough, enjoyed my voice, and I've molded it and I worked on it for so long to make it sound the way that it is, and they appreciate it. Fred Cannon and Rose Drake out of Creative and Dreams Music Network, they see a future in my voice and my charisma, you know. So it's been the biggest blessing. It's been the biggest blessing for me.
So you walk in, now you've got this label, and you've got the opportunity to get recording time, create the song. Is it a song or is it an album? Is it?
Oh, you want the details?
Yeah, or is it too early? Is it?
No, it's not too early. I can give you little snippets of what I'm doing. So we're working on the album. It's going to be a full album,
And it's going to be classic country oriented because it's going to go back to my roots and where I came from, because I grew up on Tammy Wynette, Patsy Cline, George Strait, just the classic country. So we're going to kind of shift it in that direction for this album and bring back what country is supposed to sound like and feel, and just make it better and bringing it back to what it used to be. And it's very exciting. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to show you guys what I've been doing. It's just, it's the best thing I've ever done.
Oh, goodness. Well, you've got somebody that came along your way on the road in between named Fred Cannon, Sir Fred Cannon.
Sir Fred Cannon. He was knighted, correct? He's a knight.
He's a knight.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
It's crazy.
And he came your way.
Yeah.
And he heard you, saw you, wants you to be you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not somebody else.
Oh, gosh, no. That was the best. Because you hear a lot about people that get signed to labels and they immediately do the shift of changing the way they look or changing the way they sound to make it commercial so they can sell their music. See, what's different about the album I'm signed with, well, the label I'm signed with, is I can be myself. I can wear my buck knife, I can wear my boots and my jeans and my hat, and I can sing country music and not change the way that I look or the way that I sound to sell records. You know, I can just be myself, and that is the easiest thing I've ever had to do. It's just be me, uncensored. I can just be who I am instead of having to do what somebody else tells me to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What a gift.
Oh, yes, it is. I can't imagine being somebody else.
So did he, when you got up there, did he have to bring out more?
Yes.
He saw your potential and he had to kind of bring it out. How does a person like that do that? What's the process?
Well, the process it differs between artists, I think. With me, he saw the potential in my voice to do classic country, which I had kind of dipped my toe in the pond of classic country and singing that. And I primarily sang and sing country. Before I met Fred, I sang a lot of country, but I kind of mixed it in with different songs and different genres. And when I got into that studio for the first time before I got signed, he gave me a few songs that I'd never sang before, on purpose to kind of see how I adapt to them and see how I can make my voice sound country. And when I got in that studio and recorded those songs, I had never sounded that good my entire life. And I praise Fred. It's all Fred that did it. And some of it was me, you know, having the willpower to do it and knowing that I could do it. But we had Fred just pull it out of me. And I understand that he could have done it because he's worked with so many different artists. So it was very easy for me to do.
He's worked with what, Pink Floyd and
I can't even list off the amount of people.
Some Beatles and
Lynn Anderson. He's worked with
Faith Hill.
He's worked with. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at Mom right now because she knows it more than I do. Mama, help! Because we got Pink Floyd, we got Stevie Wonder, we got Michael Bolton,
It's the whole ensemble.
Billy Ray Cyrus. It's just an insane amount of people. And for him to find this potential after working with these people in me blew my mind. It blew my mind to be that appreciated. And for somebody like him with the top-notch experience that he's had and to have interest in me. And that just really boosted my ego a little bit, you know.
Well, it got us all so fired up. When you got signed by your label, you posted it, and we got to share that good news.
Oh, yeah.
It is good news when you get, you heard the whisper to sing. Your mother gave you that gift. Your family gave you that gift. And it came out of your mother having deaf parents. Mm-hmm. And now you're singing this melody. Despite all of that, through the silence of that has come your voice and your gift.
The story where I come from is very intricate, and there's so many different things that has led me to this. And where I come from is a big thing. Mom and my grandparents and my grandma and grandpa, and then my dad, who can't carry a tune in a bucket, bless his heart, but he is my biggest supporter, and he's my biggest fan, and he has pushed me to places that I didn't want to go because I didn't think I could do it, but I did it because I had this love and support from my family and everyone who's loved me.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of it has to do with God and pushing me in that direction, in the correct direction of my life and where I need to go with it, and not waste what I have and use it for good. So that's really what I want to do. I really want to change people's lives with my music. That's the big dream, you know?
Absolutely. Well, you've got a platform.
Yes.
You've got a testimony.
Yes.
You be you. You be yourself, and just explore in a bigger way, a bigger area for you to do that, arena
Yeah.
for you to do that. But when you come back here to Meridian, and here we are at the Max, where it's all about storytelling and it's about people discovering their unique voice and how it's shaped our state, and it's shaped the culture, and these phenomenal people who are just like you and me, who have found their roots, who haven't lost who they are, and yet have blessed the world because of their gifts, whether it be writing or music or Hollywood or
Art or anything, any kind of art. We have so much talent in this little bitty town, in its whole state. So much talent. We've been so blessed with that. I tell you.
So being a child of Mississippi and naming that song, it'll be wonderful to see where the Lord takes this.
Yes.
And we are so delighted for you to
you.
share your story with
Yes.
us today on the road in between. So
Yeah.
thank you, Emily White.
Thank you.
We can't wait to see what God's got in store.
Can't wait to show y'all.
At Rick Justice Automotive, you'll find the right vehicle at just the right price. We have new inventory of late model, low mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs arriving every week. Come see us today, and you'll see how we've been able to help your family and friends find the perfect vehicle. Financing and a 57-month, 57,000-mile warranty are available on every vehicle. For an awesome car buying experience, come to Rick Justice Automotive. We take pride in earning your business every day.
On behalf of Rosie and Emily White and myself, we are so grateful for you being part of us on the road in between. Emily, thank you.
Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. And I look forward to see where I'm going to be in the next year. Maybe I'll come back and give you guys an update, yeah?
That would be great. That's what we're all about on the road in between, because we're on the journey and we're celebrating that. To your mom, Angela, thank you, Angela, for your spirit, your love, sharing that music with your daughter, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here right now.
Especially me. I wouldn't be here.
So our benediction's this, Emily. You go nowhere by accident. Wherever you go, God is sending you. God has a purpose in your being there, and He's given His Holy Spirit to you. Until next time, enjoy your road in between.
Thank y'all.